Well, hello, one and all. Well, how you doing, Lory?
I'm good. I'm good.
So this shouldn't really be a very long one. You've just got back from your night work
Yep.
because he works the night shift.
Yes.
He works the night shift. Well, so anyway,
Well, it's definitely the graveyard shift, isn't it?
yeah. So we're here to talk Pathfinder with Dragon Age. Winding down as we've said a little bit there. We'll do the odd session just to keep things going a bit with the group. But we really want to come back in Inquisition time period to play next time. We're going to be playing Pathfinder, and you're going to be GM, aren't you?
Yes, quite.
How are you feeling about that?
Oh, let's put it this way. It's been a while since I've GM'd anything. The last thing I GM'd now would have been back with second edition Warhammer now, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. Although, you did do some Dark Heresy initially.
Yes, I mean full-on campaign though here.
Well, that technically
Heresy,
was a campaign.
well, true, but I kind of petered off near the end, but we kind of stopped.
Yes, we kind of stopped. So the only thing that I was going to say actually on this is, it seems to me that all games you've ever played, especially as a GM as well, you kind of view Pathfinder as, or at least D&D 3.5 rules plus,
Yeah.
as kind of the ultimate the ultimate comparison. Everything you've always I get this impression with you that you always compare it to that.
It's kind of the staple. Everyone's played it. Well, not everyone in your case, but
Yeah.
everyone's played D&D in some form, whether it's Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, first edition, second edition, blah blah blah. But
I mean, I've played Baldur's Gate. I mean, so yeah, I've played
but
Dungeons.
that's not really a good way of saying it. But yes, I get what you're saying.
I've had exposure to the world.
Yeah, you've had exposure to Forgotten Realms, yes.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, pretty much a good majority of RPGs will tell you that they have played some form of D&D at some point. In this case, you're going to be playing the Pathfinder variant.
Yeah, I mean, I always get that feeling with you, as I say, that it's you've always known those rules and held on to them.
Oh, it's what I grew up on, really.
So yeah, this is going to be a good one for you to GM.
Yeah,
I think this, and I think some of the discomfort you found in other systems, not necessarily so much Woothrup, although the way those are written by
Black Library. That was usually.
Yeah. They could be a little odd sometimes, couldn't they? Along with
Black Library Industries, I think, or whatever it was. It wasn't exactly Black Library itself.
Black Industries, wasn't it? Yeah. A little bit odd sometimes at times, especially with the Dark Heresy modules as well, where they really don't...
Fantasy Flight that was another video altogether. We've already done that, I think.
Yeah, but I don't think you ever felt quite comfortable. You were never really comfortable in a sci-fi setting, were you?
I wasn't exactly comfortable in
as a GM.
Setting. No. I mean, I like playing in a sci-fi setting. I'm perfectly fine with it, but being the GM for it, it's a bit different, especially when 40k isn't really my full-on cup of tea, as it were.
Okay. No. I suppose
I mean,
not.
I don't mind playing 40K.
I've got my full-on cup of tea right here.
I mean, I don't mind playing 40k. 40k is a good system.
Yeah.
So long as you've got the right GM for it.
Well, yeah, it's grimdark, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I think, you're kind of a traditional fantasist, aren't you? And
yeah, really. Fantasy's where I grew up on, and basically where my heart is with I did originally keep rereading and listening to the audiobook for Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and so forth when I was a kid, so yeah.
Yeah, and you're a fan of all things Drizzt, aren't you, as well?
Yeah. The Drizzt series was a good one, in my opinion, at least anyway, although he is pretty much essentially one of the most hated, most liked characters from the D&D universe, depending on who you ask.
Yeah.
Probably because he's just so famous, but yeah, it's like Cloud Syndrome there. People either like it or I hate it, or they hate
also, Ultramarine Syndrome. But...
That too.
Although, no, they're a little bit worse because they're kind of
Ultra
So
Smurfs.
they're supposed no, but they're known as being like
The best of the best.
the best, yeah, the perfection, aren't they? The
Mm.
best of the genes, and they know it, and they
They're basically the
remind
Caps.
everyone.
They're the
Yeah.
Captain Americas of the 40k universe, every single one of them.
So yeah, I think to you, D&D and its ilk has always been the purest form,
Mm.
and it's going to be interesting to see you actually not have to be a pretender GM and not have to go along, but actually go all out on the system that you're most comfortable with.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, originally when I was I was ready to do this, it was like I got the books years ago when it like almost when it first came out, maybe a few months after it came out.
Yeah.
The core book, and I started building up everything I could afterwards, just to slow burn it, just so I could burn the rules into my head a bit more. And now down here, we're like in 5th edition D&D, we're more or less ready to play it.
That's the way it is. So many
But yeah, I
games.
mean, we got so many we want to play, and there's so many back things as well too. So it's just like that.
Yeah, I mean, you were on about trying to GM the Wolfrop Second Edition, the continue on from their Fated Travels. We were on about I'm trying to do Star Wars: Edge of the Empire.
And there was like Eclipse phase you got hold of, and then there was like maybe possibly doing Cthulhu at some
that's
point.
like way out there. Eclipse phase into
Yeah,
the future,
and there's
sort
like
of.
there was some point we were planning on doing Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah, it's
Everything's
kind
just
of.
piled up.
And I'm making it worse because I'm about to bring another game idea to this very video. It's going to be an exclusive. You don't even know about this.
Oh, goody.
Yeah, like we need that. But it's in some ways it sounds like it might be the antidote to a lot of problems as well.
Yeah.
But anyway, keeping on the Pathfinder vein for now, I'm not sure how we're going to be, how or if we're going to be giving this campaign coverage on YouTube, because I don't have quite the time to do vidcasts for every campaign that we do. I don't know if you want to vidcast.
I mean, I could do a vidcast. I mean, it really is just going to be a case of I won't have a camera for a while, but I can just basically do it like this with myself.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you've got lots of characters in your head, so you can sit there by yourself and have conversations just fine.
Yes, there is that. I mean, there's like every other paladin I keep making.
we will get onto that in a moment. Okay, that is on my list of people that are interested in you, Lory, as a person. They're interested in your character. Some people, I've been told, for instance, that some people like Amelia and things. You've got a bit of a fan base, Lory.
Oh my goodness, I have a fan base. As long as I don't start doing shipping, we're fine.
So what I think we could do is, if you do the vidcast, it could be like a spin-off series. It could be like Better Call Saul or something. Yeah. Yeah. So Lory's vidcast.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
So I
goodness.
think I'm not sure how we do it. I mean, if you're up for that, then go for it. I've got an awful lot of responsibilities and things to do.
You've had life basically just kick you in its own way.
Well, yeah, it does that. That's part of living.
Yeah. But here's the thing with Pathfinder, as we stated, we're doing that. I'm going to be running the first campaign path that was released, and has been released in an anniversary edition, so Rise of the Rune Lords.
Oh, an anniversary edition. What have they added?
It's basically just all 6 parts of the campaign path in one big book with an introduction. I think there's a lot of information, an appendix of like magic items that show up throughout the entirety of it.
Oh.
Some of them being wondrous items and possible future purposes of how you could continue the campaign onwards, and a lot of other stuff. Definitely appendixes on the areas as well that you'll be going to, like Sandpoint, for example. I mean, I've already shown you the Sandpoint hinterlands.
Yeah.
And the surrounding area of it, so that's basically where everyone's going to start. But before I run Rise of the Rune Lords, I'm going to run the Beginner's Box, because it's same area, and the Beginner's Box is going to help everyone get to grips. I mean,
Yes.
You've never played any D&D. I'm not sure about Chris.
No, I don't think he is.
But I definitely know that Craig, Jez, and Joel now
Yeah.
they all play D&D and probably have a lot more experience. Well, not probably, definitely have a lot more
Well,
experience.
I
with
mean,
me
in the case of some of
because
those,
of their ages, but
in the case of some of those, it's going to be like first edition
yeah,
D&D.
yeah.
So
So they've
yeah.
probably not just played D&D, they've probably played advanced D&D, which which is a whole nother thing as well.
Mm.
Which is what Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale actually utilize as a system for the computer game.
Mm.
When I'm talking Baldur's Gate, I mean the top-down one for the PC,
Yeah,
not the
yeah,
Dark Alliance stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, okay. So yeah, hopefully you'd be covering that. Hopefully we can get some sort of coverage because there's at least I know I'm going to be contributing a very unusual character, and that's kind of I'm being tight-lipped about what that is at the moment. But
Yes,
there
it's going to be a
will,
surprise for everyone, this one.
yeah, there will be a
Folks
reveal.
talk to me with it to make it work.
I don't want to go into it because the other players might find out what this is, but it's going to be a monk, and that's all you're going to get to know. But yeah, and, again, that's not the usual kind of. I don't have a staple.
No,
I'm
no,
all
Rob,
over the
Rob,
place.
you're like, I can play anything. You are, mister.
I truly feel that I can play anything and put a spin on it. Really,
Yeah, literally for the spawn. I mean, with like Maestro, Jericho, Solomon, so on and so forth, all the characters I've seen you pull out, it's like, this has definitely
Yeah.
got a Rob spin on things. And it's quintessentially taking the basic idea and taking the Rob variant, where it's like, quite crazy in its own fashion.
Yeah, these characters usually end up being crazy, but
Not
kind of,
insane,
yeah,
but
but normal, but unusual.
yeah,
Sometimes funny, but not actually aware that they're funny.
or intending to be.
Yeah, that's often the thing. Yeah. So,
It's good because I like how it turns out, really.
well, yeah, I haven't gone wrong so far on any of them. So, yeah. So we've got. We also did a video about possible psionics, didn't we? Joel
Yes,
was going to be. He was requesting a psionic. You're going to go ahead on that, aren't you? You to allow him to do that.
Yeah, yeah. In this
He
case,
suggested
yes.
he suggested that he wanted to play something a bit more subtle, some kind of rogue that uses psionics to subterfuge and I don't know, like hypnotize or persuade or those kind
Be
of
force usery kind of dealy at this rate.
yeah. And with that in mind, you felt maybe he'd go for the cryptic.
Yeah, the cryptic seems to be the closest one. I mean, there's like the Aegis, which would have been the a defensive one, but no. And then there's loads of others like the Dread, the Marksman, the Psychic Warrior, the Soul Knife, so on and so forth. But the cryptic seemed to be the most likely.
And you can always dual class into the rogue as well, can't you? So,
I think the cryptic has skills that the rogue would use, like the like disable device, stealth, lockpicking and basic stuff. But also he actually gets abilities where he gets bonuses to. These are passives as you level up, not powers, where he gets passives to like trap finding, trap making. Like you can, and also he's got most of his psionic powers will give him like bonuses to like stealth or be able to stealth in pure darkness, even if he can't see, so he takes no penalty.
well, didn't we say that you have an amount of points per day and that they're basically like a wizard?
Yeah, it's points per day. There's a lot of points, and wizards are like their spells per day versus spells known, and same for sorcerers or any other type of magic caster. Points per day kind of equate like mana points, like the Dragon Age do. So it's not that bad.
Yeah.
And because every power per power uses a different set of points. Like low level, you only have like 1 point. So a zero level power or first level power only costs 1 point. So you can only use 1 psionic power a day as the cryptic. Maybe some others can use more than 1, but that's based upon what they are.
Okay. Well, pushing on. I mean, you alluded to it before. What the hell is it with you and paladins?
I don't know, man. I really don't know. I mean, the first character I ever created was a paladin, and I've
Yeah,
played other characters since then. But every time we come into a system and I start playing something,
and board games. You
and
always
board
play
games, yes,
paladins.
yes, or
You
something
played it
close to
in the
it.
dungeon, and you played it in what was
Dungeon.
it? Warhammer
Match.
Quest was it? Which
Warhammer Quest. In Warhammer Quest, I ended up playing this. I started off playing the Barbarian because it was the only melee class there, and no one else wanted to play it. Because my sister played the Dwarf, someone else played. No, my sister played the Elf, someone else played the Dwarf, someone else played the Wizard. And then when they Warhammer Quest started saying, here's expansion characters, I was like, oh look, Bretonnian Knight, that looks interesting. Later do I know, because I've never played that much of fantasy, do I find out that Bretonnian Knights are Grail Knights and all that are fucking paladin-esque with their blessings of the lady and shit.
Oh yes, and then let's not forget computer games. Nearly every RPG computer game you've managed to bring.
First thing I do is play a paladin, or whenever I make a character, there's some stupid bullshit into his like having to play a certain particular game where it comes across, like when I played Dungeon Siege 2. Oh, you happen to be related to this distant ancient god. That makes you a paladin now, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, you played World of Warcraft paladin.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
Managed to.
My first character that was a warrior. You've got to admit that.
Yeah, you weren't happy with it.
But then I started tanking as a paladin and healing as a paladin, and I found I was actually kind of good at it.
Well, of course, because it was a paladin.
Paladins are good at everything. And WoW. Apparently.
I'm a paladin. Give me your priest cloth. So no.
But then we came to like Dragon Age. I was like, I noticed we're severely lacking a tank. Okay, I'm going to play a tank.
That's great. Yeah, you're going to play a warrior. Oh, Templar. Oh. Sake, Lory. And then I am in plate.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you've got. Let's not forget back to Wolfrup, because you were playing Tordrad, who is basically a Kislev warrior.
Yes, he started off as like that, and he pushed all the way along like that, and as we got near to the end, and I'd gone down all the way down the champion path, I then put him into the priest path, and he started to, yeah.
Because he was first a warrior.
Warrior priest of, yeah.
It's a folk paladin. So,
yeah, quite.
Anyway, yes, there's something wrong with you.
And let's not forget what happened in Heresy when I made Darius, but I didn't intentionally do that. That was your fault as well, technically, mister, with you bringing up the whole witness to the divine background thing.
Well, we'll witness things.
True. But he ended up becoming a paladin, and then I got him a hammer.
Well, anyway, so...
It just comes down to like everything I try to make ends up somehow becoming a paladin, even if I don't pick the paladin class.
So, pushing forward just a little bit now onto the next subject, we had one of our players, Craig. He wanted to play a goblin witch doctor, shaman type.
Shaman from the advanced class guide.
He's calling it a witch doctor.
Well, there's a witch doctor subclass thing, yes.
Yeah, okay. But you said that's not going to work.
Not really. I mean, you did the unboxing for the beginner's box at one point.
Yeah.
So you've kind of seen how goblins look?
Oh yeah, I've seen
They're very cartoony with the big heads that are like oversized for their body, and he says he could possibly hide it, but goblins here aren't really going to be able to hide what they look like that well.
Also, they've got an insanity about them, haven't they? That
quite. They've got quite the insanity. Anyone who's played in Pathfinder who has GM'd it, and has probably GM'd Prides of the Rune Lords or anything like that to do with goblins in it, has probably seen how crazy the goblins can be. Heck, there's even an adventure called We Are Goblins, for pity's sake, where you get to play as goblins.
Oh well, didn't you also say that the particular area we're in Varissia, the Sandpoint and that kind of hinterlands, that's a particularly anti-goblin zone? They have a lot of goblin problems.
They have a lot of goblin problems. There's like 5 goblin tribes that it's okay when they're fighting amongst themselves, but it gets problematic when they decide to start picking on people.
Okay, so you're going to suggest he doesn't?
Kinda, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to suggest he doesn't really choose a goblin. I mean, he could try and hide it, but it's gonna be very difficult. It's gonna be a very difficult disguise check to get through that.
Well, it sounds to me like it would be a matter of time before he would get discovered.
It could be easily discovered during, like, the opening adventure or something.
Hmm. Okay. Was there anything else you'd want to add on Pathfinder before I drop my next idea?
Oh, um, well, not really. Not
Okay,
really.
so
I mean,
I'm
we're
going to
pretty
push on.
much covered all it.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? It all started from an invite I got to one of these type of hangouts,
Right.
and an event called Faraway Land,
Right.
and hopefully I'll be around to be able to attend and watch this podcast. And there's a system that's come off of Kickstarter or something.
Oh.
Yeah, it got funded. It's Faraway Land, it's called.
Mhm.
Yeah, so yeah, the podcast Far and Away, I think it's called. Yeah, yeah. So Faraway Land is, to put it bluntly, it seems to be a very crunch light,
Right.
but you can crunch it as much as you want, and the style appears to be, well, it's cartoony, crazy to the max, zany to the max, with
We're
like,
Animaniacs.
stupid, exactly. It's got baloney in its slacks.
We were already doing half of the lyrics earlier, weren't you? So we might as well continue.
Yeah, you may as well. It's adventure time essentially, in its style, in its visuals.
Oh, Adventure Time's cool.
It's that crazy. So, do you know what? I've looked at it, and I took a look at the core rulebook, and it seems so doable, and like so much so that it like might be an antidote to a lot of our current sort of crunch woes and things like that. I kind of think I'd like to run it somehow. There's that feeling there. I almost picked up the rulebook there and then.
And walked out the door with it.
Well, no, because it was online, so all I'd be doing is locking myself out of my house. But you know, they didn't have a key.
You get my point.
Yeah, I walked out the door. Is it? And yeah, so that's something to check out actually. Far Away Land, or FAL, as they break it down. Yeah. So yeah, just dropping that little one in there, and I think that kind of concludes everything we were going to talk about.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's our update video, and you know, the problem is more games that we want to play. Hurrah!
Huzzah! This is like Fantasy Flight with their leaflets. It's like, here's a game you could play, here's a game you could play, here's a game you could spend your money on and play, here's some more stuff you could spend your money on and play.
Congratulations, player! You've just spent £80 on our board game.
Here's some more leaflets for you to then purchase more stuff from us.
Here are 20 more board games that you can buy, for each anywhere between £40 to £80.
And some living card games and other things that you could do.
Well, yeah. But anyway, I've done my rant on that. So
much choice. So much choice. It's fun. Oh dear.
right. I'll see you later. I'll let you get to bed.
Yes.
Because the sun's come out, we don't want it to burn you up.
Vampire!
We don't. So I will catch you later.
Yes.
And for everybody else, I'll see you at the table.
Ta-ra!